Well, it's fun stuff today. Got this keen barking dog in the background, and I'm repairing this old door. I've scraped off all the paint up to the point where this part of it has been broken out. Looks like somebody kicked it open at some point. But I am going to cut a new piece, cut a big notch out of this door, glue a new piece in, and that's what I'm doing today. So you get to watch with me. So this hole, broken out of the corner of the door, I'm going to try to salvage as much of the old wood as I can, but in order to do that I have to leave a little bit of cosmetic flaw here, which I can fill in with wood putty. But it looks like the actual broken out width, the minimum I'm going to have to replace is about 1 1/4 inches. So let me see if I can get some 1 1/4 inch wood stock. Oh, and it's a hair shy of 3/4 inches deep, which is going to work fine if I use this old wood floor bits. I can recycle some of this old wood flooring that I'm not using. It's oak, super strong, and should work out just fine. So let me cut this down to 1 1/4 by 3/4, and that should be what I'm looking for. I set this board up in a jig. I custom fabricated a little jig so that I could get a nice straight line. The cut edge is going to be on the outside of the door, and then this tongue is going to be hidden inside the door. It's just a quick and dirty way to get the job done, but I don't have a table saw or a planer, so I'm going to get as much done as I can. Let's see if this works. Pretty good to me. Let's measure it and find out. There it is. Sorry about the dust. I ultimately decided to go 1 5/16. Let's see if I can get this full camera to focus. Yeah, that's about right. And that's exactly 1 5/16. So the whole thing, nice and true. Alright, now I only need an 18-inch section, so I'm just going to cut that out. That's about as tough as it gets. This is really, really hard wood. White oak, used specifically for flooring. And even where I clamped it with the vise, with the C-clamp, you can't see any marring. It's just really, really tough wood. So let's see if I can now route out a space for this in the door. And now comes the fun part of just setting the depth on this router to right at the correct width, to be exactly the same as the width of this piece of wood. If you line it up, you can just see it there. That's right where I want it, I think. I'm going to go ahead and lock it in and go with it from there. If I have to do a little bit of sanding later on, it's not that big of a deal. In fact, it'll be fun. Powerful fun. So with this bit installed, the distance between the bit and the guard is right at 2 11/16. So what I've done over here is set up a jig that will keep me from cutting outside of this block of wood. And if I just run the router around, starting out at the edge and then coming back in, it should leave me a spot that is right exactly the same size as this block of wood. And then all I have to do is sand off the radius at the corner where the bit cuts it in a circle. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that's right on. Perfect. It's fun to check. Well, that's fun. Well, that's most unfortunate. The bit slipped out and actually just cut clear through to the other side. Well, that's not very nice, but that's okay. We'll just power through it. I got some repairs to do on that side now, too. Fun. Yesterday, when I was doing this, I had some camera problems, so I'm picking up where I left off the next day. I let this glue sit overnight. Here's a plug that I fabricated to fit into that hole that I cut from the other side. That seems to be holding up pretty well. And over here I got a little shim in there to plug that part of the hole. And there's the glue set up real good. Let's flip this thing over and see what it looks like on the other side. That is the base wood. I had to actually tap it in place and sand it down a little bit so that it would fit in there. But overall, the fit is perfect, and I've got a little bit of gap right in here that I can fill with wood putty, and that's going to be fine. That's from the original hole. This door, when it was made 70 years ago, had a bevel cut on the edge. And so I'm going to have to end up matching that bevel. You can kind of see it there. But there down at this new piece of wood, it's not quite flush. So that's part of the sanding I'll have to do. Let's have some fun. That didn't take long at all. That is pretty darn smooth. Alright, so a little wood putty should finish the job. Alright, fun stuff. And I'll pick up the camera so you can see what's going on. Just bunging this putty into the hole and just working it in really hard. So it's pretty effective stuff. When it hardens, it's going to shrink a little bit, but not enough to crack, I hope. And if it does crack, then I'll just apply some more. And when it is dry, I can sand it down. Even though it's well above the surface of the existing wood, this stuff is so soft that when you do sand it, it effectively just vanishes, and it ends up being flush with the existing wood. Fun stuff. Powerful fun. There we go. Let's see if I can get a little bit onto the side. Get a little bit up with my hand. Just bung it in there. There we go. That's it. Now just sit and wait for that to dry. Fast forward 4 hours, and this wood putty is dry. I'm just going to hit it quickly with the belt sander. I've hit the rest of the door already, because that's how you rough up the surface for paint and skip the primer. But let's see how this works out. Sorry if I bumped you there. Still pretty rough. I'm going to hit that with some regular sandpaper. This is just a sander for your typical drywall, 120 grit, and it works great for this because it keeps a nice flat surface while you're sanding. I think we're there. I'm just going to go with that. There's a couple of low spots, but I don't think that they're bad enough to warrant another round of wood putty, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Next step is to paint. Prior to starting any painting, naturally, you have to go through and sweep up all the dust. That's very important. A lot of people will skip this step, and then the dust forms little motes, little bumps in there, and little bits of discoloration. I need just started this, but I need a quick bathroom break. Sorry about that. I have to take a lot of pee breaks lately, but apparently that's normal for the medication that I'm on. So one of the tricks I use to make these doors look as good as they can is really long brush strokes. I completely hide the underlying wood grain because, well, after what I've done here, the wood grain is not very pretty. So let me show you what I mean. Slather on a nice, not a thick coat. In fact, the first coat's going to be very thin. The second coat's really going to hide anything that is not hidden under the first coat. But where the magic comes in is the long brush stroke. So let me demonstrate that now. There it comes. Get up right up to the edge. Get that knocked out. And real tight up here. Really nice. Up here. Okay, here comes the long brush stroke. Way down at the end. Your brush on there. Nice and steady. And just walk back. So you have a 6 foot long brush stroke. That's it. Easy peasy. So I'll do the second coat here in a little bit. Alright folks, time for the second coat. Alright, there it is. So this second coat is nearly dry, and I'm going to show you now why it is that I put on a thick second coat with these really long brush strokes. So here it is. It gives it this really sweet, unnatural, shiny sheen that just hides all the defects. You can't tell that the thing has been repaired. All the repairs are just hidden. I love it. This paint, it's, gosh, what is that? I think it's Sherwin-Williams exterior white high gloss, and it does all the work for me. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me get a close-up for you. You can still see a little bit, but it'll pass a casual inspection. I don't think anyone will ever notice it. It'll be our secret. How about to flip this door over and paint the other side, but I wanted to give you a feel for what this looks like. These really long strokes and this particular paint. It's just amazing. It really hides all the defects. You really just can't go wrong. And it seems like I've done a lot of work, but realistically, the paint is doing all the work. It's just crazy. Oh, I love this stuff. Alright, let me get to work on the other side. Here's the back side of the door. You can see where I've sanded it, and what I do is I always sand with the grain, just to rough up the lowest level of paint, to get it to where I can slather on this beautiful white paint. And here you can see where the hole was. It's there. You can't see it very well with this camera. Sorry about that, but that's the whole point, making it hard to see. So this is the before picture on that hole in the back of the door. Bonus. We'll see how it comes out. So while I'm doing this, I'm reminded of a buddy of mine who told me that when I'm helping people on the internet and showing these videos of how to fix things, how to fix microelectronics, and how to install plumbing, I'm not really helping people, but instead being a braggart. And I listened to him. I took his word for it. I thought, well, maybe he's right. Maybe I am just being a braggart. I just figured this stuff out myself, and I'm sharing it on the internet. And I stopped for a couple of years, but then I realized this, helping people isn't being a braggart. Just helping people. So there are people out on the internet who now have the ability to do these same things I figured out how to do, because I showed on the internet how to do it. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, what you're doing, you're just being a braggart, you're not really helping people, tell them to shut up. Because they're just awful people. Anyway, when this dries, I'll show you what it looks like in the sun. Somewhere in here is the hole that I patched. If you can't see it, don't feel bad, because I'm standing here and I can't see it any longer. It's gone. And at some point I'm going to have to patch this keyhole, or the hole where the latch goes, and that's going to be a fun task. I'll do that later. I'm not going to bother including that in this video. But yeah, I definitely wanted to take a moment and thank all the people who encouraged me to learn how to do things myself, or who taught me how to do things. And frankly, if you run into somebody that condemns you for helping others and accuses you of doing it for your own self-interest, just forget those people. Keep helping people. Just keep helping the people around you and ignore those that would condemn you. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.